Caroline Leavitt made her biggest mistake at 2:47 p.m. on a Thursday. As the White House press secretary, she stood at the podium, cameras rolling live on C-SPAN, exuding confidence in her perfectly pressed outfit. With a dramatic gesture like a game show host unveiling a prize, she motioned toward the door. In walked Representative Jasmine Crockett, dressed in a sharp navy suit, carrying an iPad in one hand and a thick manila folder in the other. Her smile was polite and professional, but it didn't fully reach her eyes. "Representative, thank you for being brave enough to come here today," Leavitt said, the word brave laced with a subtle edge, as if this were meant to be an intimidating showdown. Crockett took her seat beside the podium. "Thank you for the invitation. Caroline, I brought some materials with me, materials for fact-checking." She placed the folder on the table with a soft thud, in case anyone misspeaks during our conversation. The first crack appeared in Leavitt's smile. Journalists in the room leaned forward, sensing something amiss. This wasn't on any schedule they'd seen. The White House rarely invited opposition members to press briefings, especially progressive Democrats like Crockett, who had built a reputation for grilling administration officials. Leavitt cleared her throat, attempting to regain control. "Well, let's start with the border crisis that your party refuses to." Crockett held up one hand, polite but firm. "Actually, before we discuss policy, I have a procedural question." She opened the folder deliberately, every camera tracking the motion. "Is it true you were banned from appearing on CNN?" The room fell silent. Pens halted mid-note. Phones froze mid-text. All eyes locked on Leavitt's face, frozen between confusion and panic. That's not what this briefing is about," Leavitt stammered. "Oh, I'm sorry," Crockett replied calmly, her tone as casual as discussing the weather. "I thought we were here to answer difficult questions. Isn't that what you said when you invited me? That Democrats need to answer the tough questions." Leavitt gripped the podium, knuckles whitening. Over 10 million people watched live across C-SPAN, YouTube, news streams, and social media. Leavitt was just realizing she no longer controlled the narrative. What she didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that she'd invited a former civil rights attorney with years of courtroom experience to her own cross-examination. And Crockett had brought all the evidence. The folder was thick, and this was only the beginning. Leavitt pivoted, her media training kicking in. "Representative Crockett, I think the American people would rather hear about your party's disastrous border policies than engage in personal attacks." Crockett's eyebrows rose. "I asked a factual question about your professional history. How is that personal? You're clearly trying to deflect from the real issues." "The real issue is whether the White House press secretary tells the truth," Crockett continued clinically. "That seems pretty important, don't you think?" Leavitt forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "If you're afraid to discuss your party's failure to secure the border—" "I'm not afraid of anything, Caroline," Crockett interjected, leaning back relaxed. "I'm a former public defender. I've had drug dealers threaten me in courtrooms. I've had judges yell at me. I've had opposing counsel try every trick to rattle me." She crossed her legs, settling in. "So, no, I'm not afraid to discuss border policy. But before we do, I'd like to establish whether you're a credible source of information. That's how this works in court. You establish witness credibility before accepting their testimony." Journalists exchanged glances. This briefing was already derailing. The White House press secretary was supposed to dominate these sessions, but the power dynamic had shifted. Leavitt tried to sound authoritative. "I'm not a witness on trial." "You're the White House spokesperson," Crockett countered. "Every word you say is supposed to be true. Every statement is on the record. Every claim represents the United States government." Crockett picked up her iPad. "So, let's establish your track record with truth." She swiped to a document. "Caroline, were you banned from CNN for making false statements on A?" "That's a mischaracterization," Leavitt replied. "Is it?" Crockett read aloud. Quote, "September 24th, 2024. CNN spokesperson statement. We had decided not to book Caroline Leavitt for future appearances following multiple instances of false statements made on air, including claims about election fraud, immigration statistics, and economic data that our fact-checkers determined to be demonstrably incorrect." End quote. She paused for the cameras. Is that a mischaracterization? Because I can pull up the actual press release. I have it saved. I can also pull up the 3 specific segments where you made those false statements. I have the videos downloaded, full clips, unedited. Would you like me to play them? A Reuters reporter typed rapidly. The AP journalist recorded every word. Bloomberg's correspondent drafted a headline mentally. Leavitt's face flushed. This is clearly a partisan attack designed to distract from the real issues. It's a yes or no question, Crockett said gently, like a teacher. Were you banned from CNN for lying on air? Yes or no? I was not banned. I was. You were uninvited from future appearances due to false statements, Crockett nodded. So, uninvited, not banned. Is that the distinction? Fine, let me rephrase. She stared directly. Were you uninvited from appearing on CNN because their fact-checkers determined you repeatedly made false statements on A? CNN is a partisan network. Answer the question, Caroline. Were you removed from their booking list because you lied? The room was silent save for camera clicks and typing. Leavitt's composure cracked. I don't have to justify my media history to you. You invited me here. Crockett hardened slightly. You set this up. You told your staff to leak it to right-wing media outlets. You wanted a spectacle where you could grill a Democratic congresswoman on live TV. She leaned forward. So, yes, you do have to answer questions. You don't get to only ask them, not when you invited me into your house. A New York Times journalist raised her hand. Caroline, for the record, can you confirm or deny that CNN stopped booking you due to concerns about false statements? Leavitt's eyes flashed betrayal. These were supposed to be her press corps. I'm here to discuss policy issues, not my personal. Your credibility is a policy issue, the Times reporter pressed. If a major news network determined you repeatedly lied on air, that affect how we should evaluate everything you say from that podium. Other reporters murmured agreement. The room's dynamic shifted by the second. Crockett watched with calm patience, knowing how to turn a jury, or a press corps. Present evidence. Let conclusions form naturally. Don't overreach. Leavitt tried offense. Representative Crockett, with all due respect, maybe if you spent less time researching my media history and more time actually legislating, the American people wouldn't be suffering under your party's failed policies. I do both. Actually, Crockett replied without missing a beat. I can walk and chew gum at the same time. It's a useful skill for anyone in government. You might want to develop it. A few journalists chuckled quietly. Leavitt's face reddened deeper. This is exactly the kind of condescending attitude that Americans are tired of from Democrats who think they're smarter than everyone else. I don't think I'm smarter than everyone else, Crockett said, steel and velvet. I just came prepared. There's a difference. She stood, commanding the room with confidence. You want to talk about the border? Great. Let's talk about the border. Let's start with facts, not spin. In February 2024, there was a bipartisan border security bill negotiated by Republicans and Democrats over months. Senator James Lankford from Oklahoma led the Republican side. You remember that bill, right, Caroline? Leavitt's expression showed she sensed a trap. That bill was flawed in numerous ways. Name 3 flaws. Crockett shot back surgically. It didn't adequately address the root causes of. Specifically name 3 specific provisions you objected to. You said it was flawed in numerous ways. Name 3. Silence stretched. Not a thoughtful pause, but the silence of someone without an answer. You can't, can you? Crockett said sympathetically. Because you don't actually know what was in the bill. You just know you're supposed to say it was bad. Someone gave you that talking point, and you repeated it. A Washington Post reporter spoke up. Caroline, can you name any specific provisions from a border bill that were problematic? Leavitt looked cornered. The details of the bill are public record available for anyone who wants to read the full text. I've read it, Crockett said quietly. Cover to cover, all 370 pages. Have you? I've been briefed on the key points by our policy team. That's not what I asked. Crockett stepped closer. Have you personally read the bill you're criticizing right now on national television? More silence. Crockett let it linger. 5 seconds. 10. She knew silence's power. Let me tell you what was actually in that bill, Crockett continued, pulling up a document on her iPad. $20 billion for border security, 1,500 new Border Patrol agents, 3,500 additional asylum officers to process claims faster, funding for 100 new immigration judges to reduce the backlog, new detention facilities, advanced surveillance technology, drug detection equipment. She looked up. The bill had everything Republicans said they wanted for years. Everything. Funding for the wall, more agents, faster deportations, stricter asylum standards. She paused. And then what happened to it? Caroline. Leavitt knew the trap. There were legitimate policy concerns that prevented the bill from moving forward. Donald Trump killed it. Crockett cut through. He called Republican senators and told them to vote against it. Not because of policy, but because he didn't want President Biden to get a win on border security before the election. That's your interpretation. It's not my interpretation. Crockett pulled out printed pages. It's what Republican senators said publicly. Senator Langford, who negotiated the bill, said Trump killed it for political reasons. Senator Mitch McConnell admitted it. Senator Mitt Romney called it appalling. She held up the printouts, quotes from Republicans. These are Republicans, Caroline, your own party, admitting Trump torpedoed border security for politics. Leavitt's talking points evaporated. The president has every right to weigh in on legislation that affects his policy priorities. That's not what I asked. Crockett press, courtroom style. Did Donald Trump kill the bipartisan border bill because he wanted to campaign on border chaos instead of solutions? Yes or no? He had legitimate policy concerns about certain provisions. Which provisions? Leavitt opened her mouth. Nothing emerged. You don't know, do you? Crockett shook her head. You don't know what was in the bill. You don't know which provisions were supposedly problematic. You just know you're supposed to defend Trump's decision to kill it. She faced the cameras. Here's what actually happened. Republicans and Democrats worked together for months. They compromised. They built a bill addressing real border concerns. Then Donald Trump, not even in office, killed it because he wanted political ads about the border instead of fixing it. She turned back. And now you have the audacity to stand there and ask me to defend my party's border policies, when your party sabotaged border security for campaign purposes. The room erupted with journalists seeking follow-ups. Leavitt tried speaking over them. This is a complete misrepresentation of, is it? Crockett's voice rose above. Then show me the receipts. Caroline, show me evidence Trump didn't kill that bill for politics. Show me specific policy objections that justified killing border security. She gestured to her folder and iPad. I brought my evidence. Where's yours? Leavitt's hands shook visibly. She erred by getting personal. Representative Crockett, you may think you can come in here with your lawyer tricks and your attitude. Lawyer tricks. Crockett repeated slowly. You mean evidence, facts, documentation? Those are lawyer tricks. You're trying to make this about me instead of policy. You made it about you when you lied to the American people from that podium, Crockett retorted, voice rising first time. Not shouting, but forceful. You made it about you when you claimed things demonstrably false. You made it about you when you got banned, uninvited, from CNN for lying on air. She stepped closer. I'm just holding you accountable. If that feels like an attack, maybe that says more about your relationship with truth than about me. Crockett opened the folder wider, pulling another stack. Because we're not even close to done. That border discussion was just a warm-up. Leavitt's face paled. Crockett arranged documents methodically, like trial exhibits. Let's talk about your greatest hits. Caroline, your track record of statements from that podium. Her voice turned clinical. Because I've been keeping score. She picked the first. January 9th. 3 days ago, you said, inflation is at record highs under this administration. American families are being crushed by the worst inflation in history. Crockett pointed at the podium spot. Do you remember saying that? Leavitt's voice tightened. Inflation has been a serious problem that's devastated families. Answer, did you say inflation is at record highs? I said it's been historically high. Current inflation rate is 2.7%, Crockett stated. That's not a record high. The record was 9.1% in June 2022. We're down from 4.1% last year, from 7% before. She marked her notepad. So, when you said record highs, that was false, objectively, demonstrably false. Correct. Leavitt recovered weakly. The impact on families is still severe. That's not what you said. You didn't say inflation is still a concern. You said record highs to create a false impression. Were you aware inflation was 2.7% when you made that statement? I was conveying the experience of American families. Were you aware of the actual rate? Yes or no? Silence. I'll take that as no. Crockett noted it. Moving on. Next document. December 15th, you said violent crime is spiraling out of control across America. Cities are becoming war zones. Americans aren't safe in their neighborhoods. Crockett pulled her iPad. Would you like the actual clip? I have it queued. Leavitt's jaw clenched. Crime is a major concern for Americans. FBI data shows violent crime down 15% year over year. Property crime down 12%. Murder rates down. Assault down. Crockett ticked stats. Crime is dropping, not spiraling. So, when you said it's out of control, that wasn't true, was it? Those statistics don't capture the full picture. The full picture is crime is down, significantly. That's data from FBI, police departments, independent organizations. She showed printouts, downward trends. You said crime is out of control. Data says down. That's not disagreement. That's you saying something false. Do you understand the difference? A third-row reporter typed furiously. Leavitt pushed back. There are concerns about crime reporting methods making those statistics unreliable. Are you a criminologist? The question hit hard. What? Are you a criminologist? Do you have expertise in crime data analysis? Have you studied crime reporting methodology? I don't need to be a criminologist to understand. So, no. Crockett cut off. You're not an expert. You're just dismissing data that doesn't support your narrative. Another document. November 22nd. You claimed this administration added 0 jobs, maybe even negative jobs. Exact words, I have a transcript. The quality of jobs matters, not just quantity. That's not what you said. You said 0 jobs, maybe negative. The job market has faced challenges. 2.7 million jobs added last year, Crockett stated flatly. That's millions, not 0, not negative. She spread documents, Labor Department stats, monthly reports, analyses, all showing growth. You lied. You stood there and said something you knew wasn't true, or you didn't know, which means incompetence. So, which is it? Lying or incompetence? The room silenced. No good answer existed. Leavitt's face flushed. I resent the implication. You can resent it. But one is true. You knew and lied, or didn't know and spoke anyway. No third option. She picked more papers. Should I keep going? I have 17 more examples. 17 instances in less than 2 weeks where you made factually incorrect statements. More than 1 false statement per day. The number lingered. Crockett fanned documents like a winning hand. Shall we go through all? I have time. My schedule's clear for 2 hours. Leavitt looked desperately at staff along the wall. They stared helplessly. This wasn't in prep. This is inappropriate. Leavitt managed, voice lacking authority. This briefing room is not a courtroom. You're right. In a courtroom, there'd be rules about perjury. Hey, apparently, you can lie without consequences. Crockett's response was swift. She walked toward the podium. But let's talk about appropriate. Is it appropriate for the White House press secretary to lie? To make up statistics? To stand at that podium, the voice of America, and say demonstrably false things? Leavitt had no answer. The White House press secretary is supposed to be trusted. When you speak, the world listens. Allies, enemies, Americans. They trust truth from this room. Crockett's voice quieted, intensified. So, When you lie repeatedly, you're not just misleading voters, you're damaging America's credibility. You're making every statement suspect. You're turning this room into a joke. She gestured. This room has history. Real journalists asked real questions. Real press secretaries gave real answers. This room mattered. Her eyes locked on Leavitt. And you're destroying it one lie at a time. A Politico journalist raised his hand. Representative Crockett, are you saying the press secretary should resign? Crockett considered. I'm saying Americans deserve better. Whether she improves her relationship with facts or someone else does the job, that's not my call. But something must change. She turned back, picking another stack. Because we're still not done. I haven't even gotten to the video evidence yet. Leavitt's face drained of color. Video evidence. The words threatened. Oh, yes, Crockett said, noting the reaction. I have videos, lots, of you saying one thing under Biden and the opposite now. Same policies, same data, different president, different claims. She held her tablet. Would you like to see them? I'm happy to play right now. Every camera zoomed on Leavitt's face. Stress sweat beaded despite makeup. Hands gripped white-knuckled. She knew Crockett's videos would devastate. Why else bring them? Crockett pulled up a video file on her tablet. The room hushed except for camera whirs. Before I play these, let me explain what you're about to see. Her tone mimicked the prosecutor with damning evidence. These are clips of Caroline Leavitt making statements about policy and economics over 2 years. Some from her Trump campaign spokesperson days, some from Mega Incorporated, some from the last 2 weeks here. She made eye contact with journalists and cameras. What's interesting is how her positions change based on who's in the Oval Office. Same data, same metrics, opposite claims. She tapped the tablet, showing a split screen. This is Caroline on October 3rd, 2023, on Fox News. Left side, Leavitt on set. Clip played. These job numbers are completely fake. The Biden administration is manipulating data. The economy is in shambles. Real Americans know the truth. This economy is failing. Crockett paused it. Now, this is Caroline on January 7th, 2025, 5 days ago, at this podium. Right side, Leavitt at briefing. Clip. This administration has created unprecedented economic growth. Job numbers outstanding. The economy is stronger than it's been in decades. The American people are thriving. Crockett let the contradiction sink in. Job growth in October 2023, 150,000 added. December 2024, 140,000. Nearly identical, Caroline. But in 2023 under Biden, you call them fake, economy in shambles. In 2025 under Trump, same numbers are unprecedented growth. She paused. Would you like to explain the difference? Because 150,000 jobs is disaster, but 140,000 as success is hard to see. Leavitt stammered. The overall economic context is different. Is it? Crockett pulled data. GDP growth Q3 2023, 2.9%. Q3 2024, 3.1%. Unemployment October 2023, 3.8%. December 2024, 3.7%. She eyed Leavitt. Context nearly identical. Numbers identical. Only change, who you're making look good. A Washington Post reporter scribbled furiously. Crockett continued with another split screen. This one's better. You in August 2023 on executive orders. Left, Leavitt on podcast. Biden is abusing executive orders. He's acting like a king. This is tyranny. He's bypassing Congress and governing by decree. This isn't democracy. Right? Leavitt at podium last week. The president has every right to use executive orders. It's a vital constitutional power. Presidents always use them to implement agendas quickly. Crockett paused. In August 2023, Biden issued 78 executive orders by then. Trump, 43 in 2 weeks. That's 21.5 per week. Biden, 78 over 36 months, about 0.5 per week. She addressed cameras. Trump issuing at 40 times Biden's rate. But Biden's was tyranny, Trump's vital power. Leavitt defended. Executive orders are about what they accomplish, not number. So, content over quantity. Crockett pounced. Great. Let's discuss content. Another document. Biden's 2023 orders, expanding health care, protecting workers, addressing climate, strengthening voting rights. She looked up. Trump's last 2 weeks, restricting health care, weakening worker protections, rolling back climate, making voting harder. Pause. Opposite policies. You praise Trump's, condemn Biden's. So, not content either. Just who's doing it. Next split screen. November 2023 on deficit spending. Left, Leavitt on Newsmax. The deficit is out of control under Biden. We're spending into oblivion. This reckless spending will destroy our children's future. We need fiscal responsibility. Right? Leavitt at podium yesterday. The administration spending package is necessary investment. Sometimes you spend to grow. This isn't reckless, it's strategic. Crockett paused. Biden's 2023 budget adds $1.7 trillion to deficit over 10 years. Trump's current, $2.3 trillion. Eyebrows raised. Biden's smaller spending destroys futures. Trump's larger strategic. Leavitt, economic priorities are different. The only priority I see, making your boss look good. Truth, data, consistency, irrelevant. Spin is all. Another clip. Journalists gasped. Split. Left, Leavitt March 2024 on age. We need younger leadership. Aging politicians don't understand modern America. Out of touch, lacking energy or mental acuity. Biden's age is serious and so on. Right? Leavitt 4 days ago. President's decades of experience invaluable. Age brings wisdom, judgment. His age is asset, not liability. Crockett let clips run. Biden was 81. You said too old. Trump 78. 3-year difference. Directly. So, 81 too old, 78 perfect. When does transition happen? Or just, Biden bad, Trump good? Silence. I have 12 more, Crockett said, setting tablet down, picking phone. Should I continue? I can do this all day. A Reuters journalist stood. Caroline, Representative Crockett presented compelling evidence of contradictions. Response. Leavitt cornered. These clips out of context. I played full clips with dates, sources, context. Crockett interrupted. Nothing out. You said opposites based on who implemented. Bloomberg joined. Data shows similar indicators, but opposite characterizations. Explain. AP on executive orders. You called tyranny under Biden, power under Trump. Reconcile. Even Fox looked troubled. Contradiction stark. Substantive response. Leavitt shook. This coordinated attack. Coordinated with whom? Crockett immediate. I researched myself with law firm colleagues. No Democrats or White House. Just me, lawyers, public clips. She gestured. Journalists aren't coordinating. They're asking legitimate questions because you've been caught. Leavitt tried again. This briefing off rails. It went where needed. Crockett steady. You invited me to make me look bad, grill on policy, get viral clip of Democrats stumbling. Sharp smile. But you forgot homework. Didn't check my background. Didn't prepare for cross-examination. Didn't consider inviting a former prosecutor might backfire. Leavitt's hand shook. Cameras caught. This briefing over. Is it? Crockett, I'm not finished, and you invited me. Can't end because losing. Room held breath. 10 million watching. Leavitt nowhere to hide. Actually, Crockett settled back. One more category before wrap-up. Leavitt wanted to run but froze. Running on camera worse. Let's talk your relationship with basic facts, Crockett continued. Not spin, just verifiable facts any press secretary should know. Document out. Earlier, I asked questions. You couldn't answer. For 5 full seconds, the room froze in silence. Then phones buzzed. One, another, several. Journalist notifications exploded as clips went viral on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. A CNN journalist, ironic given earlier, stood. Caroline, Representative Crockett documented false statements, contradictions, lack of policy knowledge, beyond inappropriate, substantive response. Leavitt looked at journalist Crockett, cameras, trapped in nightmare. I think. Voice cracked. We've given enough time to this ambush. Ambush. Crockett eyebrows rose. You invited me. Sent invitation. Staff leaked to right-wing media. You'd grill progressive Democrat. Phone out. Have leaked emails. Read. Leavitt eyes wide. Confidential. Staff leaked to Breitbart, Daily Caller, not confidential. Smile. Read communications director, finally putting squad member in place on TV. Washington Post reporter, true staff leaked his planned confrontation. This briefing over. Leavitt voice near shout. Room froze. Moment. Secretary losing composure, slamming podium, shouting, captured every angle. Replay million times by morning. Crockett stood slowly. Can't end because don't like questions. Not how works. I can whatever. My briefing room. American peoples, Crockett corrected. Job, answer questions, even hard. Leavitt grabbed papers, headed side door. Press erupted. Can't leave. We questions. Unprecedented. But moving. Crockett's voice cut. Caroline, stop. Tone made pause, hand on handle. Can walk out, but all see. Watching see. Remember, confronted evidence. Ran. Asked defend. Couldn't. Chance correct. Fled instead. Leavitt frozen. Really how want end. Running live TV. Image follow forever. Seemed might tame, but push door. Disappeared. Room exploded. Journalists uploaded clips. Tweeted. Called editors. Recorded stand-ups. CNN, extraordinary. Press Secretary walked out after Crockett confronted false statements. MSNBC breaking. Briefing meltdown. Leavitt fled credibility questioning. Fox. Tense exchange. Leavitt ended abruptly after Crockett. Crockett calm. Seated. Journalists surrounded. Extraordinary. Just ask questions. Simple. Lawyer. That's due. Ask. Present evidence. Research from. Public record. Videos. Statements. Data government sources. Organized. Help from lawyers. Good building cases. Expect walkout. Expected struggle contradictions. After. Her choice. But yes, thought might run. Can't defend usually do. Giving documentation press. USB drive up. Full videos, transcripts, citations every fact. Share any journalist. Every hand up. While mobbed, White House staff meltdown hallways. Senior advisor's emergency meeting. Hell happened. Not prepared questions. CNN ban public. How no answer. Why walk? Makes worse. Statement. What say? Live TV, unedited. C-SPAN whole. Claim ambush. Invited. Leaked ourselves. Do. No answer. Nothing do. Damage live. Archived. 30 minutes. Video 5 million views. Hour 12 million. Day end 70 million. Clips everywhere. Split screens. Podium slam. Walkout. Most viral. 15-second. Crockett calm. Lying then or now. Leavitt frozen. Silence. Looped every platform. Simple. Devastating. No answer. Late night rewrote scripts. SNL emergency. Forget plan. Cold open right self. Strategists analyzed. Democratic. Masterclass preparation opportunity. Crockett homework. Receipts. Methodical. No overreach. Republican diplomatic. Leavitt unprepared situation. On team. Don't invite trial attorney without prep. Blunt. Destroyed. No spin. Indefensible. Walking worst. Social brutal. Leavitt chess lawyer checkmated 20 moves. Speed run any percent. Walked hour. Learned receipts means. Under jokes. Serious. Shock secretary exposed easily. Concern documented Fawcett speaking America. Worried couldn't answer basics. Mainstream reflected. Post. Crisis credibility podium. Times. Fact-checking briefing room. Leavitt Crockett. Journal. Press secretary walks heated exchange. Fox. Tense highlight division's truth. Next morning. Video 100 million. Dissected frame. 23-minute mark. Photo CNN. Moment realizes wrong. Hands grip. Stress. Voice crack 47 minutes. Lost control. Walkout. Admitting defeat. Good answers. Stayed. Strategist fallout. Democratic. Changes dynamic. Journalists emboldened. Tough questions. Evidence demands results. Briefings aggressive forward. Republican ex-secretary. Nightmare. Lose control on briefing. Contradictions can't explain. Live TV. No edit. Neutral. Remarkable Crockett prepared. Days building case. Evidence. Counter-arguments. Approach trial. Leavitt winged. Conservative fought. Coordinated ambush Democrats distract failures. Comment sections not invited. How ambush? If not lie, not caught. Conservative, bad. Need better. Commentators admitted. Crockett prepared. Leavitt not. On Leavitt. Contradictions damning. Same data, opposite claims. Who president? Indefensible. Walking worse. Never give opponent satisfaction run. Viral commentary ex-Trump official. Like Caroline, but 20 years young job, 10 inexperienced. Secretary needs deep policy. Government years. Handle hostile without a part. None those. Campaign spokesperson promoted beyond. Quotes everywhere noon. White House damage frantic. Meetings. Replace. Can't fire 2 weeks. Worse. Do. Media training. Briefings. Walk live. No fixes image. Points drafted. Face baseless attacks. No. Documented evidence. Abuse platform. Invited. Videos edited. Live C-SPAN. Real time. Angles failed. Problem. Caught Fawcett's camera. No defense. No spin. Journalist dream. USB's treasure. Transcripts fact checks. Compilation contradictions. Sources claims. All pre-checked. Cited. Verifiable. Post. Inventory Leavitt Fawcett's. Times. 32-year-old spokesperson. Experience matters podium. CNN. Fox CNN ban White House meltdown. Leavitt story. Journal editorial. Credibility matters. Briefing room needs reform. 3 days. SNL cold open. Actress Leavitt nervous podium. Crockett oversized receipts folder. Brutal. Contradictions. Fumbles. Get back. Climax. Lying there now. Freeze. Look camera a folder of Crockett. Scream. Run stage. Ended Crockett podium. Actual questions? No answers. Most watched 5 years. Week after, conferences changed. Journalists sharp. Questions. Economy strong. Metrics. Crime rising. Source contradicts last week. Discrepancy. Challenged every. No assert move on. Called Crockett effect. Accountability back. Every podium. Leavitt felt. Memory Crockett destroying credibility 10 million. Videos side. Hypocrisy. Silence no answer simplest question. Lying there now. Approval tanked. 23% credible. Republicans. 42% credible. 51% not. Careers ended less. 2 weeks. Reports discussions future. Anonymous. Not ready. New, but not obvious quick. Walk unforced. Panicked. Worse. Briefing. Whole breath. Hopes no stupid. Meanwhile, Crockett star rose. Groups speak. Organization fundraisers. Hosts invite. Decline most. Back work. Committees. Legislating. Job elected. Whole-way interviews. Homework. Whole story. Invite answer tough. Ready answer self. Too hard. Expression unchanged. People deserve honesty White House. Asking honesty too hard. Bigger problems. Do again invited. Absolutely. Always show facts. Job Congress. Partisan attack. Watch video. Presented evidence. Documented. Clips. Data. Facts partisan. We lost plot country. 1 month. Leavitt still job. Diminished. Careful. Looking shoulder. Every briefing minefield. Journalist blood. Circled. New. Everyone. Never recover Thursday 2:47 p.m. mistake day. Invited prosecutor on trial. Crockett taught nation. Preparation meets opportunity. Can't bluff evidence. Can't intimidate face judges. Can't win fight started unprepared. Can't recover exposed lie live entire world. Podium same place. Never feel same Leavitt. Approach. Remembered folder. Receipts. Videos. Silence. Walk captured. 10 million credibility die real time. Lessons private. The C-SPAN. Live. Archive forever. Permanent what happens confidence exceeds competence. Spin meets substance. Loyalty truth. Crockett shown. Mistake platform competence. Confuse loyalty expertise. Think lie no consequences. Meet does work. Brings receipts. Knows ask unanswerable. Lying then now. Question ended career. Ask calm. Answered silence. Remembered forever. The empty podium in the briefing room stood silent that evening, but everyone who witnessed the events would remember. The youngest White House press secretary in history had learned a costly lesson. Sometimes, the smartest move is recognizing when you're outmatched. Caroline Leavitt learned it too late. Jasmine Crockett taught it effortlessly. The video endured as a cautionary tale about the perils of overconfidence in the face of facts. In the days following, the fallout rippled through political circles. Pundits dissected every angle, from Crockett's meticulous preparation to Leavitt's glaring missteps. This wasn't just a bad day, one analyst noted on cable news. It was a systemic exposure of how spin can crumble under scrutiny. Democratic allies hailed Crockett as a hero for restoring accountability, while even some Republicans privately admitted the need for more substance in their ranks. Social media evolved from memes to deeper discussions. Threads analyzed the psychological toll of public humiliation, with users sharing stories of similar professional breakdowns. That silence after lying then or now. That's the sound of a career imploding. One viral post read. Hashtags like #receiptsqueen and #briefing_meltdown trended globally, turning the event into a cultural phenomenon. Inside the administration, whispers grew louder. Leavitt's briefings became scripted spectacles, with aides hovering to prevent slips. Yet, the damage lingered. Journalists, inspired by Crockett's example, pressed harder. Can you provide the source for that claim? Became a staple question, forcing Leavitt to defer more often. Her once bold demeanor turned cautious, her responses laced with qualifiers. Crockett, meanwhile, returned to her congressional duties with quiet resolve. She introduced bills on transparency in government communications, drawing directly from the briefing's lessons. In interviews, she emphasized unity over partisanship. This isn't about Democrats versus Republicans, she said. It's about truth versus deception. We all lose when facts are optional. The media landscape shifted subtly. Outlets invested more in real-time fact-checking teams, citing the briefing as a wake-up call. C-SPAN viewership spiked, with audiences tuning in for potential fireworks. Late-night shows continued mining the material, with parodies extending to international audiences. Even comedy sketches abroad lampooned the American podium walkout. Long-term, the incident influenced hiring practices. Political consultants advised campaigns to prioritize experienced communicators over loyalists. Loyalty is great, one strategist said, but it doesn't win press battles. You need someone who can handle the heat with knowledge. Leavitt's trajectory stalled. Rumors of her seeking lower-profile roles circulated. For Crockett, opportunities multiplied. She became a sought-after speaker at law schools, sharing strategies on evidence-based advocacy. Preparation isn't optional, she'd tell students. It's your armor. Her approval rating soared, positioning her as a rising star in Democratic leadership. The briefing's legacy extended to public discourse. Schools use clips in civics classes to teach about government accountability. See how fact can change a narrative, teachers would ask. It sparked debates on media literacy, with workshops encouraging citizens to demand evidence from officials. Years later, the video remained a staple in political science courses. The Crockett-Leavitt exchange, professors called it a masterclass in democratic oversight. Leavitt, having moved to private consulting, rarely spoke of it, but the lessons shaped her work, emphasizing research over rhetoric. Crockett reflected in a memoir excerpt, "That day wasn't about winning a fight. It was about defending truth in a room built for it." The podium, symbol of authority, now carried a reminder: confidence without competence invites downfall. In the end, the mistake at 2:47 p.m. wasn't just Leavitt's. It highlighted a broader vulnerability in politics. When preparation meets hubris, the results are unforgettable. And in a world of endless replays, some moments define eras.